Okay, this movie right here, is a great example of why I don't go anywhere or do anything. Okay, just why I don't leave the country. Fucking, you don't know who you can trust. All right, and this movie is a great example of that. Okay, Hostel, the unrated cut, first one. All right, directed by Eli Roth. I think it's fuzz or something. I thought it was a bug. It was like a big bug like that big. No, it's just a fuzz. um. So yeah, it's three friends go on a trip in Europe, Slovakia, Bratislava, and one of their friend goes missing, and then the other friend goes missing, and then when the other guy goes to investigate, he's led right into a trap, and he finds out there's this evil, sadistic, torture people that just murder people and dismember them, and yeah, this is torture porn in its purest form. Like, people say that the Saw movies are bad. As those movies went on, they got progressively more and more torture pornish. But this is, oh, there are sometimes you gotta, like, it's not just like, people say, oh, well, you watch horror movies, you should know about blood and guts and gore. But this is not just stabbing people and spraying out, or decapitation and little guts dangling down, or dismembering someone and, no. It's just the little torture where they show close up of someone's finger getting taken off, or drilling someone in the chest, or just like more torturous. That's why they framed it as torture porn, because they lavish in the torture of it all, not just the gore like other horror movies that show you great gore. This is more torturous than anything. And it's I don't know. We already started this, and I'm reviewing it right now, so I have to continue through all three of these. But I don't know. We got Jay Hernandez here playing Paxton, one of our main characters, and this other guy who plays Josh. I couldn't place him. I thought he was the guy in Stay Alive, which is another one I was supposed to put on the list. I might have to find a way to switch it out because I need to review that movie. But no, he's actually Nolan from the TV show Anger Management with Charlie Sheen. And so Paxton and Josh are there with their friend Oli, who is from Iceland. And they're partying, of course. And they go, after they're done partying, they go back to their hostel that they're staying at, and it's closed. But they bump into this guy who takes them to his place, and he tells them about, hey, you want to get girls, you go to Bratislava, you go to Slovakia, Bratislava, and you can get laid. It's better than here. So they do that, and right away they meet two women, Svetlana and Natalia. And they immediately have some kind of connection, as we see that this is Eli Roth with naked babes, naked cheeks, as he usually does. As they meet in the sauna. So, yeah, in the spa, but it's a sauna. And we see Oli hitting on the desk clerk lady, who is in on it, question mark? I believe, because she disappears. We never see her again at this initial encounter with Oli. I don't think. Or maybe we do. Like, he calls himself the king of the swing, and then he's dancing with it later at this one party, and then the other two are dancing with Svetlana and Natalia. And they have sex, of course. It's not completely drawn out, but it's a sex scene. And then the next morning, Oli is gone. And he gets this Japanese lady, like, freaking out, and shows him a picture her friend sent her, supposedly, that has a picture of Oli and her, and they left together. apparently. And the guy at the desk said that they checked out. So is the guy at the desk in on it? Because that's never shown either. It could be that everyone who works there is in on it, but I don't know. We don't get to see Oli dismembered. I don't think. Maybe we do? I don't think so. I should mention there is this guy they meet on the train there. Because it's important later. So they go out again that night. They decide to stay one more night to see if Oli comes back. And Kana, that's the other Japanese girl, is going to stay as well. So, actually, I should mention they run into that guy again that night. There's something at the beginning of this when Josh goes to hit on these girls. I don't understand this. It's really weird. He goes at he's like, well, she smokes, dude. He's like, so? She's hot. Yeah, but they find out later because his one date is smoking, and we find out that he's asthma. He has asthma. So, yeah. And, that's the same night. So the next night they go out to party again, but clearly something's up because the girls are behaving differently than they were the night before. They're behaving a little more evilish than they were the night before. And then Josh starts to feel weird, and so he goes and he crashes. He's taken to this place to lay down because he feels all tired, and he falls asleep and is taken away. Paxton gets up to go find him and ends up crashing in a pantry away from everything. So he ends up getting locked in there and he's safe till the next day. He goes back to the hostel and the guy at the desk says, "Hey, you checked out. Since I hear you checked out." So I'm thinking the night lady who's there does it, and this guy is innocent, I think. But he checks back in, and there's two other women who say, "Hey, you want to go to the spa?" And I'm like, are they in on it too? Because it's two different women. But he finds Svetlana. Well, he goes, first of all, he takes the little phone and goes to check, and he finds out that the picture was taken somewhere very close to the hostel, which is very stupid. But he finds Svetlana and Natalia and says, "Well, where is my friend? Where is he?" "Your friends are at the museum. They're at the art show." And so he makes one of them take him there. Why would you? I mean, we found out later that at least some of the police are in on it. I don't know. But so he makes her take her there. He makes her take him there. And she starts laughing maniacally once they get in there. He's like, "How much?" And the guy at the desk is like, "For you, free. Run away, go. This is clearly a setup. Get the fuck out of there. Do not. I know you want to save your friends. You want to find your friends, but like, if you go to this place, it's an art show. They say it's free for you. Clearly, this is a setup. You need to get out of there." As they start walking down the corridor, that's when she starts laughing. He's like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, you're so funny." And then, like, he walks up and he sees Josh getting dismembered by this guy, who ends up being the guy from the train. He says he always wants to be a surgeon. Okay, but they wouldn't let him, I guess. That's what we get from that. And Paxton finally tries to run, but it's too late, and two guys grab him and take him, and we introduce Johann, the German killer guy. Yeah. So he's got Paxton, and this becomes really slapstick. So he has Paxton tied up behind a chair like this, right? He's tied up, whatever, and he's threatening with a chainsaw. He starts. We established earlier that Paxton can speak German, so he starts yelling at him in German. I think he's pleading with him, begging with him in German, but then that just puts him He just makes him put a ball gag in his mouth, and he gets a chainsaw. Before he can do anything, he starts puking up. This causes him to slip. He cuts off some of Paxton's fingers, which also cuts the restraints. Paxton's able to, fight his way out. The guy's arm gets chopped, or leg gets chopped off, excuse me. Leg gets chopped off, and then Paxton is able to take care of him, and then a security guard comes in, and Paxton pretends to be, and then shoots the guy in the head. He hides underneath some bodies, and then he sneaks around in a costume trying to find his friends, I guess. If Josh is dead, then Ollie's probably dead worse. I think he's just trying to get out now. But he comes across this guy, played by Rick Hoffman. You probably don't know him by name. He's a guy who plays an asshole and everything that he's in, and he's no different here. But this whole scene with him is fucking pointless. Other than we ends up being him that's trying to, torture Kana. So, yeah. So this is a whole exchange, and then also the scene is to lead to him getting a gun again. So he's like, what should I do? Should I do it quick or should I take my time? And he's like, quick. Nah, fuck that. He throws the gun down, and then he leaves, and then Paxton just picks up the gun. It's like, oh, obviously. And then he finds Kana tied up, right? And he takes care of the dude. And then she's got like an eye thing, like she's been like burnt and dismembered. So he cuts the dangly eye, and yellow stuff comes out. I'm no expert, but people usually bleed red. It's supposed to be pus, I think, but she would still bleed. It would be a mix of yellow and red, I think. I don't know. I don't understand. I never got my eye cut off, dismembered, so I don't know. But he takes her, is finally able to escape. He finds his escape route. He goes through town, and just so happens to find Natalia, Svetlana, and the guy whose apartment they went to. I didn't really recognize who it was until I watched Faces review. I'm like, oh, that guy. And the guy whose apartment they went to. So it was all a setup from the beginning, apparently. But wait. For that to have worked, the guy would have had to... Like, the only reason that they needed a place is because they were out too late. So the guy... Or was it just a coincidence? He saw them standing there and took advantage of it? I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. But he's in on it. And we know the businessman guy is. Excuse me, need a drink. Also a little dry. So, they're driving. And this is where we find out the cops, maybe they see him earlier, he shows up. There's another cop who's like stopping people in a line, and he tries to turn out of there. Cop sees the car and is looking at the car the entire time, but they're somehow able to escape. They get to the train tracks, try to get out of there. Keep in mind, they don't have tickets, but, they're still able to get on there. But Kana sees herself in a reflection, decides she's too ugly to live, and jumps in front of a train. That causes a big enough distraction for Paxton to get on the train. As it takes off, he overhears someone saying the same lines that the businessman said. Oh, I prefer using my fingers. And he realizes that the businessman is there, so he follows him. Now, this is where there are actually two endings. This is the end that we get on here, and then deleted ending. So in this ending, he tracks... When they get to when the train stops, he follows the businessman into the bathroom and kills him in the bathroom stall. He shows him the card. He's like, oh, fuck. And then he kills him in the bathroom stall. And he gets on the train, leaves, movie ends. In the other cut, he does this, but he realizes that the businessman has a daughter, and he kidnaps the child, and that's how the movie ends. As a father, I am glad that they changed it. That's a little too much. Now, Paxton killing him is a better ending. It's still brutal. Like, it's still like this guy has gone to the edge. His friends are dead. He's been used and everything. It's just like, all this. He's reached the end of his rope. So he's killed this guy, but he doesn't go far enough to kidnap a child. I mean, come on. So yeah, that's how it ends. And I hear Jay Hernandez comes back in the second one, so I'm eager to see what they do with him in that one. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it a middle of the road. This movie's okay, but I don't feel like these movies aren't gonna be for me. It just, I don't know. Eli Roth, I've always liked Cabin Fever, but the last time I watched it, remember my review, it was kind of down. I don't think he's like as high of a director as I thought he was, to be honest. Uh, Cabin Fever is okay. I think that was another middle of the road. I don't like Knock Knock at all. I feel like the ending of that movie is just too much. Like it's in this one, I don't know. I feel like Eli Roth is a poor man's Rob Zombie, where he's always got to have a downer sort of ending, which is why with Kidnap the daughter, I guess, would have been a real downer, but Paxton getting revenge is pretty good. But we'll see as I go forward. So what are your thoughts on Hostel? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.